Hi Jackie. Let me just make sure all my sound is turned off. Good morning. How are you? Right, let's just get my... Hi Helen, how are you? I hope you've not got too much of a hangover, Mrs. Hi Penny. There we go. Oh, right then. Another day, another 50p. Oh, morning Steph, how are you? Good morning, good morning. Hi Laura. Laura, today I will be mainly using some Masquerade items, some casting resin and a mini shrine. I think that's me today's plan. Fast fingers at the ready. Hope you're all alright. I'm just going to get my bits out ready. I only need one. It is a 3-pack, but I am just using one. Yeah, I'm good. I'm awake. I'm dressed. Which is always a big, massive bonus. So I'll just wait a few moments to get a few more on board. Shelley, hello. Yeah, just to get a few more peeps on board. And then we'll get cracking, shall we? I'll try and stick to an hour, but you know me, it might go on a bit longer. Just waiting for my cup of tea as well to arrive from Stephen. He's a very good boy. Oh, good for you. I don't blame you. Staying in bed. I keep forgetting I've repositioned my camera, so I keep thinking I need to push it further up that way where I used to have to do it, but now I can do it nearer to me so I can actually see what I'm doing at the right angle. So I'll just have to remember now this is my little area to work in, not up there. Morning Patricia, morning Jill, how are you ladies? Good morning. Oh, good cup of tea. Thanks Steve. Apologies for the dog bark in the background. They must have left the dog out in the garden because he's barking away. Oh, that's nice Jill, having a visitation. Lovely, lovely. It's quite a nice bright day today, but again it's absolutely freezing. Morning Jennifer, you alright lovely lady? When we go out for coffee this afternoon, Ginny, Steve's put a request in for a takeaway cake, so I'll tell the world that he's going to have cake this afternoon.
You're not going to have cake.
I'm not going to have cake, Steve. I'm having a pie. A key lime pie. It's not the same. I don't think it's as naughty when it's a pie and not a cake. That's what I reckon anyway. Hi Dawn, you alright lovely? Right, should we get cracking then? Let's enough of this chit-chattery about cakes. Okay, so today I will be using the Stamperia Masquerade, and this is the, I think it's called lamps or chandeliers or something like that, but it's got lots of candle holders. That might be the word for it, candle holders. But it has literally lots of little candles, candle holders, candelabras. That's a nice word for a Tuesday, isn't it? With massive candelabra. So I'm going to be casting a little bit of resin. I have got my gloves ready, and I'm only using some small little elements because I'm using one of the little shrines. So this one is the one that measures about 7.5 centimetres across by 9.5 centimetres across. So, hi Jackie, alright lovely. So that is the little surface that we're going to be using. So obviously it's only small, so I can't really fit a massive candelabra in it. So I'm going to be using some of the little smaller elements. I've also got a little bit of leftover paper from the maxi pad, which I don't like the word of that. I don't know why they like to call it a maxi pad, but they do. So this is the big sort of bumper pack of single-sided sheets with lots of little cutter parts. So I'll probably, well, we'll see. I might use some of these, but I'm going to use up some of these leftover bits that are in it because I'd have used it on an album. So I haven't got many pages left of that. So I'm going to make use of some of this paper from the maxi pad, just for a little bit of decoration on the inside. And then I've also got the paper cutouts. So these are already cut out. I don't have to do any stupid cutting. That's easier for me, to be honest. So I will use some of these as well. So it's just going to be a little ensemble of nice little masquerade-y, turquoisey gold, pale blue images. So I thought that would be quite nice today. Use up what we've got. That's the key for today's little session. Use our leftover bits, because sometimes we just have them in the pack, don't we? 2 or 3 little papers left. I know it does, doesn't it, Stephanie? So it's just a little bit of using up what you've got. Good morning, Jason, in the camper van. Good morning. Good morning, girls, if you're listening, or if you've got your iPods, earpods, head pods in, whatever the poddage is. Good morning, good morning. So let's just cut these little bits out. Very easy to construct these little mini shrines. But while they're cut out, what I'm going to do is just go through the resin technique again. So this is the amazing casting resin, and it is amazing. I'm going to be using some gloves. There are plenty of gloves out there, but I better just make sure that I do put gloves on. All the cats are asleep, the ones that are in the house, so we won't have any spillage or comedy moments like we had last night in Crafting Together with All Brands, with cats roaming with paint that was open. Little monkeys they are. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Philippa Winter McCartney has had is very clean. Yes, I'm glad you tell us when you've had a clean, because you are a dirty girl, aren't you? Right, so it comes with little cups. I have got extra as well. It's alright, Steve's throwing things around like he does. So this is a 2-part casting resin. It's one of the easiest ones because it's a 1-to-1. You don't have to be messing about really with different mathematical calculations of working stuff out, because it's too much for me. That I don't like it. I know it's not even your birthday. I said to Steve last night, because I had so much paint stuck on my hands from last night's live. I've still got black I can't get off, but I scrubbed and scrubbed my hands. I said I don't think my hands have been that clean since COVID, where I used to Brillo pad them after I'd had an Iceland delivery. I remember me and my mum used to have a cleaning station outside under my gazebo for any bags that came through the door from the food delivery. We'd wipe everything down. Okay, so you need a little bit of scrap paper or something to put underneath your bits, because you will spill. Guarantee you'll do a little bit of drippage. And then I just need to decide which ones I'm going to use. So I'm going to do a few, and then I'll decide once they're cast. Okay, so you get 3 little cups in this little kit. So what you have to remember is, if you fill both of these cups up with your A and B parts, obviously the third cup is not going to be big enough. I know that much for my mathematics, is that cup is the same as the other 2. So if you're going to fill these cups up because you want more resin cast for bigger pieces, you need a bigger cup than this. That's what I would suggest if you're going to do it all in one go. So there is a little measurement guide on the side to give you a little bit of an indication where you're filling it up to. I often tend to do mine by eye. Oh, morning Delcy, all right, lovely. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake. This casting part B is the one that it sort of goes a bit darker yellower and it gathers at the bottom. So don't worry about any crunchy bits at the bottom. That's just how it goes. So I'm going to pour that one first. And I'm going to do probably about, let me just have a look. For this one, I can't even see without my glasses on. I'm going to probably do about 10 mils on this. There, so about 10 mils, because obviously I don't need to cast loads because it's such a small piece. And then part A is the clear liquid, and it's a bit more gloopy, this one, so it does pour out a little bit slower. So don't worry about that. You might just sort of have to squeeze it as you're pushing it out. But as long as I get the same measurement in both, you're not going to go far wrong. I think that might be. See, I'm spilling already. I think that might be right. I think we might be there. Okay, so I've got 10 mils of each, part A, part B. Oh, gosh, Laura, I'll have to have a look at that. I have put another mould in my shopping basket anyway. But I'll have to wait a little bit for that because I've had a massive... My MOT was yesterday and I had to have a little bit of work on it, so it wasn't a cheap MOT yesterday, it was a dear one, so I'll have to resist purchasing for a moment. Right, so what you can do is pour one into the other, but I quite like pouring both into one cup, and then that's me decanting cup then. So all I'm going to do is just pour them both in together. Oh, hi Susan, how are you? I've not seen you for ages. I hope you're all right, lovely. I've got a little lolly stick as well that comes in the kit, so I'm just going to scrape out as much as I can. And don't worry too much about it curing. It has a little bit more of a playing time than some of the resins. But let's just try and get every little morsel out of there. That's it. And give it a really good stir. So at the minute, it looks quite yellowy. So what you want is to stir it enough so that it goes clearer. So just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. I sort of usually count for about 60 seconds, a minute's worth of stirring, because you do have that amount of time till it goes off. But what I find is when I first start doing my pouring, it takes longer for the cure to dry. It takes about 10 minutes. But then when I'm keeping on doing it, I don't know whether it's the cups that are a little bit more warmer because of the activation of the scientific process, the chemical reaction, but it just tends to not take as long to mould, to dry off, actually, to cure. Oh, I hope yours goes through okay. Right, so what I'm just going to do is just drip it into some of the smaller areas that I wanted. So I'm just going to drip it into that one. I'm going to drip it into that one. So just little areas. These are really thick moulds, this silicone mould. So just be careful as you're dobbing it in. I've got, oops. What it doesn't have is a lip on it, so I might have to try and find some little things that have got lips on it. There's loads of like little dangly bits for jewels, so they've got little holes as well so that you can pop chains through them if you wanted to. So I'm just going to use up what I've got. I'm just trying to find some of the smaller pieces. See, I quite like that bit on the candelabra, so if I'm very careful I can just try and drop it in that top section, and I'll get some of these little candles as well. So I have got a bit of time just to pour through, and I'm going to get that top section there as well on the other half of the candelabra. I've not got much left in now, so let's just get a few of those little gems. That'll do. Okay, and then before it just starts setting, I'm just going to move it around a little bit with my lolly stick just to make sure it goes in all the little crevices. But because unlike clay, when you do the air dried clay, this will manoeuvre into all the little areas, and once it's cured, all those little details will be there on your finished piece. Even cat hairs that have got stuck inside them, even those. So even though I've dripped some into this little chandelier, those bits can be used. These little drop pendants can be used. So don't worry, you know, if you just want certain elements, these other bits that you'll find, and when it first cures, it's soft enough that you can cut off anything that's sort of dripped over the top. Okay, so what you will see, so once it's done, just leave it, any excess, and we're just going to pour into some of the other areas. It goes like a little bit gloopy, a bit like sugar, when you're cooking sugar, that sort of stringy thing when it's starting to cure. That's sticking out, that cat hair. So I'm even going to pull a bit out of that one to pour into that one. So you've got a tiny bit of wiggle room before it completely starts going, but then just leave it. And what you'll see is that it'll just start going white. So once it starts curing, some of the area will go white. Don't use a heat gun on it, just let it be. Let it be, Helen. Let it be. So now what I'm going to do is get a little bit of kitchen roll or a little bit of a wet wipe, whatever you've got to hand, and I just sort of stuff them in my little bottle things, in my little cups, because I don't want to pour that or clean that down the sink. So all I'll do is just tear off some tissue and pop them inside there, and then we'll set that to one side. And we'll work on the construction of our little shrine. So it is easy to do. You just have to know what you want to use as your mould. And if you've got multiple moulds, you know, get them all laid out. And obviously with this one, because you've only got little cups, you're a little bit more concentrated on where you do your resin pour. And the best bit is when this cures inside that, you can peel all that lovely cured plastic out the middle. It's lovely, that section, doing that bit. Okay, right, so let's just stack all those back up out the way. and they'll go back in the box later. Okay, so just shift that out the way there. That can go in the bin. And then I'll take my gloves off. That's it. Okay, right, so I'm going to carefully move this and put it somewhere that I don't think the cats have got access to. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Right, let's try the Jenga tower. That seems fairly flat because most things fell on top of me earlier. Right, let's just shift that out of the way. Can you see now? It's already setting. It's already going. Oh, hi, Margaret. I don't know if you can see it, but it sort of starts securing the centre first. And it's like a little cloudiness. I don't think you can see it with the light. But there's like little clouds forming in the centre, little white clouds. That means it's curing. It's always a good sign when the little white clouds appear because it means that you've done it properly. So do take your time when you are first doing the measurements, you know, because then you know it's going to work properly. Right, that's back in the box. I mean, I've had this for a while now, and I've still got more than a half of each left, and I've been doing loads of casting recently, so it will go a long way. You think they're only small bottles, but they're not, because you're only using small amounts at a time. Okay, right, little slurp of tea, and let's work on the shrine. Lovely. Okay, so you've got the base piece. This is spare. This is useful to draw around for the measurements if you're decorating inside, which I will be doing. And then you've got 4 pieces for building up your box shape underneath. So you'll have 2 sides that are longer, and there's got a little hole at the bottom. This is to attach the other side to it. So just make sure when you're attaching it that they're both in the same direction. So don't put one that way and one that way, because it's not going to work. It will only go in one place. So to glue it, I've got my That's Crafty multi-purpose adhesive, which I've got a new one coming today because I am on the last dregs of this one. So I always put a little bit on the little sticky out bits, and then a little bit along this side, because this is going to be along the edge as well. So let's just get that all along there, and that just stands up like that at the side, and that stands up at the side, and it doesn't take long for that to dry. Morning, Glynis. And then you've got one at the top, so do them all quite quickly because you've still got a little bit of manoeuvrability with the side pieces. So a little bit of glue of all the little sticky out bits, and then that can be stuck at the top. Now it's up to you if you want to decorate it before or after, but I sometimes find it easy to do it after because I don't want to impede any of these little jutty out bits, because if you have it gunged up with paint or paper, it might not stick together very well. So just this last little piece, get all my little jutty out bits, and that then will slot there. So you sort of have to bomb it to put it all together. Right, you best sit on there nicely or there'll be trouble. That's it. Oh, now I've got my glue. Oh, blooming heck. It's all falling apart. Go in there. Right, you get in there. You get in the box. Right, okay. Got glue absolutely everywhere. Everywhere there could be glue, there is glue. Which is okay. Right, get in there. You get in there. Come on. It is really easy to put together, I promise you. It is. Doesn't help when you've got fat fingers, does it? Right, that bit. That bit. Okay. Oh, I hope everything's okay, Margaret. Right. That bit. There we go. And that bit. Okay, okay. So as long as everything lines up. That will all stick together. That's it. That's it. Give it a nice good press down. And that should all now be nicely adhered. Okay. So just persevere with it. So that's our little shrine made. But then that will then sit over the top. So it's a nice little area to work in. So what I want to do is put some paper on the inside of this, and I'm also just going to paint just around the edges as well. So for this I'm going to use, I'm actually not going to use that apricot today, I know, but I am going to get some of these blues out, some of the oranges, a little bit of the gold that I'll need. I'll try and scrape a little bit of green that I've got left out of there. I've got this beautiful midnight blue, it's one of my favourite blues that I've got. Oh, I am going to use that apricot, to be honest, I think. Oh, I'm actually going to use the metallic green as well, I think. Right. So I've just got a selection of paints from That's Crafty. I've got the teal, metallic green, midnight, turquoise, gold. I've got lots of different paints to choose from. My resin is nicely cooking on gas very nicely. And then let's just get a piece of scrap paper. I better not use the bit that I've done for my tax return, I don't. There we go. Okay. So I'll get these painted. And I'm going to come in with this dark midnight blue. So because it's a nice dark blue, this, I'm not going to gesso the outside first. I'm just going to go straight in with this blue. And I'm going to paint all of the inside sections, but I'm actually going to put paper right on the back section of this, so it doesn't matter if I go over the lines, but I do want a full coverage. So it is a really beautiful blue, this. I know I probably should have kept my my gloves on really for doing the painting, but I've got a new soap from Home Bargains, so I don't mind using that on my hands. Get the sides done. It goes on like a dream, this paint. It really does. Apologies for all the little bingy notifications that I'm getting. Oops. Once you've got the top bit on as well, it'll sort of make sure all your joins are glued together properly as well. It'll just solidify everything. Okay, so I'll just dry that off with a heat gun, and then I'm just going to do the back of it as well, because it is shown at the back. Let's try and get a wet wipe and get as much of that paint off as possible. And what I like about these little shrine packs is they come in little packs of 3, most of them. So, you know, you can do like a trio of projects with the same collection, but all slightly different. It's almost like doing a little set of 3D ATCs, really, using those shrines. Okay, heat gun. Let's get you plugged in. Okay, so that's okay for the front, and then I'm just going to do the back. Let's get it finished properly. Lovely. And don't forget to watch That's Crafty tomorrow morning, because there's a lovely live sale from Anthony with some beautiful MDF. You might have already seen some sneaky peeks, but don't forget to comment live on the link that Laura has been promoting to be notified of when the live sales are on. And that's on That's Crafty's own Facebook group, Facebook page. But I'll share it as well into different groups, just so you don't miss out. Okay, right, so I'll just let that dry, a second, so I'll just shift that out there, and then I'm going to use this as a little measuring guide for doing the paper that's going to sit on the inside of this. So I'm going to use one of these little pieces here because they'll just fit that, and there's a nice one with a little butterfly there, so let's just get that right to where the butterfly is, and let's just draw around this with a pencil. So that's my little guide. So these are really useful little pieces to keep. But I don't think I've had a paper pad for ages where I have got so few sheets left. Excuse me, so few sheets left. Let's have a little swig of my cup of tea. Okay, so I'm just going to cut just inside my pencil line, so I know that that will fit. And because I've painted over the edge of that inside of the box, I know there won't be any MDF colour sort of showing through. And then I just need my little stubby wooden thingy. Come on. Oops, just to edge round it. I forgot on this. I might have some already on that. There we go. I've already got some green on it, so I'm okay with that green being on there rather than the black. There we go. So that will then sit inside. So let's just get that MDF back, give it a very quick blast with the heat gun to make sure it's completely dry before I turn it round. There we go. Okay. So that then should fit just inside that. So let's get that glued in. So it just fits because I've just cut slightly inside the pencil line, so I know it's going to fit perfectly. So that's just going to be just the inside of my shrine there, so I've got some background. I've also got a bit of paint on it, but that's okay because a lot of it's going to be covered by some of my resin pieces, so that's going to be at the front. Just like that, just like that. I think I'll do that side. Just like that. Okay, so let's have a look at this resin and see where we're up to with it. Well, I pretty much think that's gone off now, as the saying says. So let's start decanting it. So it feels lovely. Oh, hi Dee, darling, you alright, lovely? So you can just start to decant it, but just look, it's still a little bit flexible still, but look at that little pennant there, it's lovely. It's like a little jewel, and you can still cut all the little dribby bits off at the side, like that. I'm good, Dee. I'm a very good girl. I'm a very good girl. We're on form this week. So they come out really nicely. But can you just see how thick that resin is? That's how thick these moulds are. So trying to do that with clay, it's just going to be a nightmare, just trying to demould them. I know you can put it in the freezer and that, but I just find using resin is so much easier to decant everything. Exactly, want it dead quick. So, you know, you can start a project, just leave it to one side while you're cracking on with other bits, and it's all there, all done for you, ready. Oh, it's just so pleasurable taking that out of the mould. So because it is flexible when it comes out, well, unless you leave it in the mould, you know, for quite a while and then demould it later on for a project another day, because you can always leave that in there until you're ready for using your moulded pieces. Just remember to lay them flat so that they actually dry flat as well and go solid in the right shape, because if you sort of twist it, it could stay in that twisted shape. I mean, if you wanted to mould it round something, by all means, well, it's got this little bit of flexibility. Oh, good for you. Good for you, Dee. You're doing well with that. So I've got lots of little, if I decant them all, then I've got more choice of what I'm going to use in my little bits. So even like the little dribby bits that I dropped in, they will be coming useful. Like that little bulb there, that was just part of the top bit of the chandelier. So nothing gets wasted. That's the top bit from the chandelier. So obviously it's got that little swirly bit at the bottom. I can cut that off. That can be used for something else. I've even got one of these little drop sort of crystal things there. You know, so don't feel that if you've only got a little bit of resin left, don't leave it in the bottle, don't leave it in the little cup. Just pour it into some of the shapes that you've got, because once you've demoulded it, you can always use even little bits. So they're just little extra bits off the chandelier. Well, I can just use them as separate little elements. I can just cut them off. And then I've got little swirly shapes that'll do for some of my floral pieces. So it does go such a long way. Even the little dribby bits that you've got left in the bottom of your cups, don't waste it by just leaving it in the cups. So that can be used for a little floral element. But do make sure you cut it while it's still that little bit flexible, because it's blooming hard to cut it when it's rock solid. Right, I think I've got everything out of there. Let's just double check. Oh, we've even got a little bit of that at the bottom there. See, even that little bit's pretty. Oh, and I've got a little candle there at the bottom. Okay, I think I've decanted everything. And that's what I like about these solid moulds. I know they're a little bit more expensive, but they've got so much flexibility. The plasticky ones, they're good, but I do think they've got a shelf life on them. because when you're sort of trying to demould them, they do crack a little bit after a certain time. So I do prefer the more solid silicone moulds. Okay, right, so we've got a nice selection to work with. And I'm going to go for sort of a greenish, vintagey look. I don't know how you do these lives so calmly. Oh, Dee, you be fine. Just be natural. You can only be who you are. I've got a talk in a couple of weeks at a Women's Institute on folk art painting. It's only the local WI. It's been in my diary for about 12 months, and now it's here. I've just found it really amusing. You know, something that's got booked in so far in advance, and it's actually here now. Okay, so let's get this painted, and I'm going to use black gesso to paint everything. I don't need those bits for now, but let's think about what we're going to use. For size wise, so that will fit very nicely on the top. I've also got some of these lovely little pieces that will go on the inside. I've also got some of these little pieces. So these bits here, they have got like a little space at the top that you can add one of these smaller candles to. So even though they're in pieces, you can add to them either that way up or that way up. So any of these little candles will fit on top of them like that, if you can see that. Or you've got the taller candles, so it depends how long you want your candle to burn for. So that's a little dinky candle, but you've also got a tall candle that you can use as well. So it depends on your burn rate, to be honest. Oh, that poor dog outside. The owners won't know, will they, of that noise, because they're not in. It does annoy me a little bit that they leave it on their own. So there's some really lovely little candles as well, of varying sizes, that you can use as well. Okay, so I'm definitely going to use that one. I'm definitely going to use that on the inside. And then I think I might actually use this one at the bottom there. And I think I might use a little bit of one of these little swirls as well. I think I'm going to go with that. And then I've got the little cutouts as well to add a little bit more to the background. Okay, so I think I'm set with what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that piece, I think. Maybe. No, I'm going to use the bigger piece. Right. Okay, so let's just shift all those bits out of the way so I know what I'm painting. Let's get my black gesso back out. Let's have a cup of tea. You've just got to go for it, Dee. Because you just don't know what other people are doing anyway, because they're probably just wandering off in the background, going to the loo, making lunch. So you've just got to just carry on as though you're talking to a friend and explaining what you're doing. Right, I'm just going to get another pair of gloves just for this hand, because that's the hand that tends to get really dirty. Oh, Pancake wants to come in now as well. Let's let him in. Come on. Good boy, in you get. There we go. Everybody's in. Go on, in you get. It's probably getting near their lunchtime. 10 to 12. Okay, we're okay for time, aren't we? Because we're just putting it all together now. There we go. Try and keep my hand clean as I can. Yeah, but it's natural to make mistakes as well. It's just part of your process, isn't it? As long as you don't swear, that's the main thing. Right, so I'm doing it in this black first because I want to do a bit of dry brushing. You know what I like with dry brushing? Because I want it a little bit grungy, as though it's an old candlestick from an old age. Right, you two can stop fighting. Stop it! Right, if you're jumping up, run, because I've got paint. I'm gonna get Waffle moving now because he thinks it's food coming. Oh, no mistakes, just a unique opportunity. Exactly. I'm trying to be really careful with my paint because I've got my new Oodie I got yesterday. So I don't have to share the other one with Waffle. I've got a downstairs Oodie and an upstairs Oodie. So this is my upstairs Oodie downstairs at the minute. There we go. Right. So that's the black gesso on there. Let me give that a good blast with the heat gun. They're going to be put in a little bag out of the way for another time. I'm not going to waste any of those bits. I didn't know about getting the chandelier mould, but I just think it's really useful for lots of different little bits. Okay, that's dry. That is dry. So it does, once you dry it again, it does soften it up a bit. Just be wary of that. So still try and keep them as flat as they can be. There we go. Right. Just going to turn that over so I've got a cleaner piece to show you me painting. Okay, right, so I've got some of this metallic green. And I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing with this. So let's get me scrubby brush. Give it a right good clean. I've still got a little bit of black on it, that's okay. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Let's get my little dish that I used yesterday. So I'm just knocking off the excess. in my little dish. And then let's get started. So really little light brushing across that surface. So straight away it picks up that colour, if you can see that. It's got a really lovely little sheen to it. So I'm just going to carry on, just doing these little elements, just with the metallic green on these smaller pieces. So I'm not bothered about too full coverage on it. If there's a little bit of black showing through, that all adds to the technique of it. And then again a little bit of this on this piece. It does, doesn't it? Absolutely does. And I'm not, I've not got too much pressure on my brush as I'm pushing it down. Just literally little light brushes over. I'll bring the camera down slightly. Let's just see, just so you can see a little bit more detail. And then what I'm going to do is come in with this gold. All right, Jackie, see you soon. So this is the metallic gold. Again, a beautiful paint. Let's just dip my brush in there. I've not cleaned it properly. I never do, but I'm not putting much pressure on it as I dip it in. And then this time I'm just going to brush that little swirly piece from the chandelier. So even little odd pieces like this will work on your pieces, on your finished project. So now what I'm going to do is just brush a little bit of this gold as well on certain elements, just to pick up a bit of the light. So not all of it, but just a little bit of gold as well on these areas. And that gold and the green go so well together. Just makes it look like a really expensive old antique. How lovely is that? Steve, sorry, can you let the boy wonder out, please? There we go. So again, just picking up a little bit of gold over the top of that green. Very, very subtle look. Okay, so now what I want to do is come in with some of the white for my little candlesticks. So let's just put the lid on that. I'm going to leave the gold out for now because I also want to put a little bit of an edge round the shrine itself. So I'll just leave that out a little bit. And let's get me white. There we go. I will have to change this water soon. It's getting a bit murky. There we go. So let's get these little candles painted in white as well. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't answer a phone call. I'm doing a live. Bloody Nora. Yeah. There we go. So that's my little little candles. So I've just put a little bit of white on there. I'm just going to dry it, and then I'm just going to go over it with some of my apricot, because I want it to be sort of more grungy looking. So quick blast with the heat gun. I know, I've seen it. So I just replied just saying I'm just doing my live. Oh no, you can't do it anyway, it's fine, don't worry. Don't worry. No, don't try. Don't try. Don't do it. Right, so this apricot, I know it's going to be my new favourite, isn't it? I can't tell you how much I love the apricot. It is a lovely colour. I can't deny it. I can't deny it, and I'm not going to deny it. Right, little bit of that. Dry brushing, take the excess off. And then let's just go over the top of that. That's it. I just wanted a bit more. I think the white was a bit too stark. So if I've added a little bit of that apricot, it just gives it a little bit more of a blending in with the rest of the antique pieces. That's what I think. Oh, he's having a right crunch there with pancake with his food. So just slightly covering that white. I've still got a little bit of the black coming through, which is fine, because that all adds to the grunginess of it. There we go. So now I just need I've got paint on my wire. I need a little bit of a flame colour. So I'm going to come in with the orange, I think. Or the yellow. Yellow or orange? What do you reckon for the flame? Should do yellow flame, Steve, or an orange flame?
Yellow.
Yellow, okay.
Orange. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yellow.
Yellow? Are you sure? God. Your comedy. See, everyone's saying orange now, so...
Orange.
Stephanie says orange. Who says yellow? Let's see. I'm going to do the yellow. Let's see what the yellow looks like. No, we're not doing a poll. We haven't got time for polls, Steve. Good idea. The yellows. I don't know. The yellows seems to be okay, I think. I mean, it's got black at the background anyway, so it still looks a bit grungy. There we go. That looks okay, doesn't it? I think yellow, probably. And then this one, I forgot to paint that, so let's just get my apricot out. Yeah, I might do that, Dee. Let's just paint this candle. I've only got 3 candles, not 4 candles. That made me laugh. What was that? What was that? Is that a cat down there? I don't know, something's just fallen. And I've not been anywhere near it, so it can't be me. There we go. Right, and then a little bit of orange, I think, so that placates everybody. Oh, you blooming arguers. All right, Dawn. Thanks, lovely lady. I'm nearly there, you know me. I can't just do an hour, can I? There'd be something wrong with me if I just did an hour, but we're nearly there. We're nearly there. So you lot, you keep chatting to me. See, I do like the orange now. I think the orange might have won, Stephanie. I'll just put that orange at the bottom, as Dee said. But I might put it at the top as well. Yeah, I think I like that. It's a bit of a mixture of orange and yellow, that. All right, Delcy, catch up with you soon, lovely. Keep your eye out for the workshop dates as well, lovely. There we go. Right, so I'm pretty much happy with those. The only extra little bit I want to do is a little bit more gold just on this swirly piece here. That's it. Just brush a little bit more gold on the top of that. Now that first piece is dried. Okay, and then what I want to do, and I'm going to sacrifice, I know I'm terrible, sacrifice one of my little sponge daubers just so I can go around the edge of my my shrine with the gold paint. So I've got one of my little sponge daubers, and I can wash it, I suppose, but I'm just going to edge it up. So I'm using that as always, like I'm using Distress ink, but I'm not. Just going around the edge of this frame with this gold paint. And I've got a bit more control using my little sponge dauber, to be honest. So I could give it a little bit of a wash once I've finished so it doesn't dry off solid. But I'm just using the same technique as I would be if I was using a Distress ink or something around the edges of it. And I'm also going to come in probably with a little bit of dry brushing as well on the inside. So let's just do the inside of this frame as well. And I just think it finishes it off nicely than just a plain blue frame round it. I do think it gives it that finished look. Lovely, lovely, lovely. How nice is that? Doesn't it look? It just makes it look so much more than just a plain blue frame. I love that very, very much. I do. So that'll just sit nicely on the top there. That looks lovely. I really like that. Just really finishes it off. Okay. Right then, so let's just get the little cut apart book and just find a couple of little elements. Let's just take that glove off. I can use that glove again. I don't want to use the resin gloves, but I'll definitely use this one again for my left hand painting. So we only want little elements on this, little tiny little things. Because I know the thing with some of these Masquerade pieces, they're for bigger projects like your albums and your journals, but the little digi pieces, you only need to use little bits. Okay, right. Okay, so these are double-sided, and they've just, oh, they're beautiful. Right, so I've got a little star there, that's quite pretty. Got a couple of little flowers, some of these little blue flowers. So we only want the little small elements that will work in that frame, because obviously the candlesticks are going to be the focal point really of this piece. Oh, I tell you what, I'm ready for my dinner. Gosh, my tummy's starting to go. I have had some brekkie, but my tummy's going now a little bit. Do I put a butterfly on it? Yeah, because it could also be like a moth attracted to a flame. So I am going to get that little moth thingy. And I think we're done. We don't need too much. Let's not go crackers. Come on, Dee, let's not go bonkers bananas, shall we? Let's show a little bit of restraint in our work. Okay. Right, let's just take that out. Let's just squish it on a wet wipe from the back so that I'm not messing with the velcro-y bit on the back. But I'm just wiping it off on a wet wipe just to get it a little bit of that paint off so I can possibly reuse it so it's not solid with that gold paint. But because I'm only using a little dinky one, I don't feel as bad using it with some solid acrylic paint, to be honest. And most of that's coming off now, so I'll be able to use it again for another bit of dibby-dabbing, dibby-dabby-dobbing, as we like to call it. And I'm going to go just round the edge of these little pieces, just with a bit of the Distress ink there. It's a bit of green, I think, that I've got on this one. I think it's one of the VersaFine Claire greens. It might be the, I can't even tell you what colour it'd be, but it's a green one anyway. There are a few greens to choose from. Okay, so a little bit edging round all of those with that green. And then let's put our little ensemblage together. So, let's start on the inside. What's underneath there? One of the little gems. Okay, right, are we ready, gang? Let's get these put together. So I wanted that little one on the inside. So let's get that glued in. That's all right, Dee. Oh, where are what from? Where are what from? Oh, where are what from? The little dinky daubers. I think, Laura, have you still got any left of those little dinky daubers? They're like little Tim Holtz dinky daubers, but they're dead handy. Right, so I'm going to use the Pentart Heavy Body Gel. Heavy Body Gel. Right, Heavy Body Gel to adhere my pieces to the back. Oh, okay then. The little cutouts. Nice. Lovely. But I think I'm going to like this. I do. Oh, my Holland and Barrett parcel is going to be delivered. I got on the app on Sunday night because I want some almond flour to do some bread with, almond flour and yoghurt to make pizza bases, because I shouldn't really have wheat and that, so I've ordered some nice almond flour, and it was 20% off if you go in the app for the first time, and most of the stuff is buy one get one half price. So I also got some I got some of those noodles that are not noodles, they're like a plant-based noodle to try, but I have had them before. You have to really wash them though, because they stink of fish when you first open them. You just have to really give them a really good rinse. But they're like a fat-free version of noodles, because I shouldn't really have noodles or carbs or anything like that. Okay, so this now, I'm just going to layer up a little bit of foliage and a little bit of floweriness to go behind and in front of our little flowery thing. Okay, so that's just going to go behind there. Just giving it a little bit of a, just tearing some of those down just to give them a little bit of 3D-ness. There we go. So I'm just going to layer some of those up in front of me candlestick. I just think it's really pretty. A really pretty little piece. Pretty little piece there. And because it's double-sided, you can choose obviously which angle you're going to put your little flowers. Alright, Pancake. Big Mardy bum. A little white one there at the front. I don't know whether I'll use that star. I'll shove it in. I've took it out. I'll shove it in. I'll shove it behind that. There. Little star there. Oh gosh, I've got paint and I've got glue on my wire now. My wire for my camera's just coming down here, and every time I move my thing... Oh, there. I'll shift it out the way. Okay, right. So now I'm just going to glue the top of this frame so that I can attach the front onto it. So a nice little layer of glue. You don't need heavy body gel for this, just the multi-purpose adhesive around the edge, and then just line that up carefully so that it sits nice and square on top. And I'm proud of myself for actually finishing the back as well, because obviously when you turn it round you can see it exposed. Oh, I'm liking that so much. There we go. That glue will dry clear. And then let's put our other little pieces on. Well, that's it, Dee. It's giving you techniques and showing you different things that you might not really try yourself, but they're all little techniques that you could always put into place on some of the covers of your journals and that. But this is a little ensemblage. I really like it. Right, so that little thing... Oh, no, because I'm going to burn the moth, aren't I? Right, you can come off. And you'll have to go further over. I'm going to have to repaint a little bit of that because it's going to be shiny, because it's... it's going to be shiny because of that that heavy body gel. But let me stick that down first. So I need gel along there, gel along that bit, gloop it in, and then just use a little paintbrush to get any of the oozy excess that comes out once you push it down. I tend not to push it down too much so it doesn't ooze out. But don't be skinny with your heavy body gel. You've got plenty in the pots when you get them. So, you know, don't be just thinking I only need a little bit. You know, be generous with it. And then that can get stuck down there. And then let's just get my little mini paintbrush and just take the excess off. Steve, can you just let him out, please? Can you just let Cat out, please? Let the cat out of the bag. Oops. Oh, he wants... Well, give him some solid cat food then for his... half a pouch of solid. There we go. I'm just trying to wipe the excess gel medium off that. I'm just really liking this. Really liking it. Really liking it a lot. So I've got this little beauty down at the bottom here. And then that can go down there. Got that little candle. Oops, coming up there. I should really find my tweezers, shouldn't I? Is that straight? It will be in a minute. And I've got this little swirly jobby to come over the top like that. little bit of dibby dabbing on these little thinner pieces. But as long as you've got some contact on the swirly piece and the frame, we shall be okay. Because it does dry absolutely solid, this gel medium. So that can just be attached there. And I have got this little moth that I did not use, so I think he can go actually on that little swirly piece. Yeah, let's give him a little bit of love on that swirly piece there. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, let's just wipe a lot of this excess off. When I've finished the live, I will just tidy up some of the paintwork where that heavy body gel has slipped out. Because it's a glossy one, it will dry with a sheen. So I'm just going to go a little bit further around with my blue paint again, just to mute and to matte that background again with the paint. But I think I really like that. I do, I think I really like that. I think I might just find a little piece just to go on the top of that there. And then I think we are done. Hurrah! Hurrah! I think we're done. I think we are done. Let's have a little scooty patooty of what might possibly go on the bottom of that. So I want it all to tie in. I don't want it to completely go wrong. So I think I'm going to use one of these little bits off this piece here. So let's just use that piece. And then I'll stop after that. But I just want some just at the front of that. So let's just get, yeah, and if you can't find what you want on one of the cutouts, cut one of the bigger bits down. Don't be afraid to do that either. Right. There, I'm just going to stick that just on the front there. I don't want it to come low because I need the shrine to stand up, but I hate that word, I'm going to just wrap that leaf just around the candlestick. It's like that, so that can be stuck on there with that leaf just over the candlestick. I just think that finishes it off like that. And it ties in with the colour of the moth at the bottom. That's just to the left. So I've thought about the composition. It's like a corner composition like that. So it draws your eye in that sort of sweeping motion. So do think about where you position things as well, rather than it being slap bang in the middle. You know, think about the positioning. But there we are, my lovelies. That is today's little project. So let's just shift that out of the way. Let's put a nice piece of card behind it so you can see it properly. Oh, there you go. I've got a bit of old tea stain paper there. There we go. Let's just shift that pot of glue. But there we are. That's today's little make. All right, lovely Jackie, see you soon. Let's just bring that camera down just so you can see a little bit more detail. But I will post pictures of the final make. That will stand up as an upright. But I just think that is a really pretty little make. And it just gives you a bit of an idea on what to do if you have got that candlestick mould, because I don't think there's been many samples made with that. But there we go. What a nice little composition. I like that a lot. Right, leave it. Leave it. Leave it, Steve. Leave it. Okay, my lovelies. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to catch Anthony tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock is it, Laura, for the start for the sale. And then I'm back on Friday afternoon, I think, for my Journaling Templates Club, unless something happens in between then. But thank you for watching. So all the links are still working on the site, on the live from Laura's webpage. So if you want to buy anything from today's live, the links are there. But otherwise, I'll probably see you tomorrow morning at 10, I think, as well, for Anthony's live sale. But thank you very much. We will see you next time. Bye, lovely. See you later.